Before I bought my 2025 Can-Am Spyder RT Sea to Sky, I thought the maintenance would be about the same as a motorcycle, but I was wrong. Because nobody told me about the rear tire that can disappear in 10,000 miles, or the oil changes that cost a lot more than most bikes. And definitely nobody mentioned the maintenance surprises that can hit you hundreds of dollars at a time. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Storm, my Spyder RT, but if you're thinking about buying one or you already own one, there are a few maintenance costs you should know about before they surprise you. Welcome back. I'm Kevin, low budget Spyder rider, and today we're going to ride and talk through the most common maintenance costs an owner can face owning a Can-Am Spyder RT. What those costs actually are, what most of us end up paying, and which one surprised me the most. And we'll start with the one that almost every Spyder owner notices first, and that's going to be the tires. As we all know, the Spyder RT runs 3 tires instead of the typical 2 in front and 1 in the rear. Now the good news is the Spyder uses automotive style tires, not motorcycle tires. So they're usually easier to find and often less expensive than motorcycle tires. But here's the part that surprises a lot of owners. The rear tire can wear out faster than expected, depending on how you ride. Most riders see the rear tire lasting somewhere around 8,000 to 12,000 miles. If you ride aggressively, or carry a passenger, or even travel fully loaded, that number can be lower. Now, when we talk about front tires, they usually last longer. Many owners see anywhere between 15,000 to 20,000 miles or more from their front tires. Now, the typical cost can surprise some of us, where rear tire install usually runs anywhere from $250 to $400, depending on your dealer, and front tires can typically cost anywhere from $100 to $200 each. And if you replace all 3 at the same time, you could be looking at roughly $400 to $700 installed. And for a lot of new Spyder owners, that can be the first maintenance surprise. Now, as we transition and talk about the drive belt, this is the one thing that surprised me the most about Spyder ownership. Most motorcycles use drive belts, some still use chains or are shaft driven, but the RT uses the belt driven system, and in most cases, the belt typically will last a long time. Where many riders see anywhere from 20,000 to 30,000, some even report 40,000 miles or more before needing a replacement. But this is where the surprise can come in, because some riders will experience some type of belt vibration or noise at certain speeds that can happen early on in the break-in process. And when that happens, a dealer may need to perform a belt alignment or tension adjustment. This service can run anywhere from $100 to $300 depending on the shop you take it to. Some owners even opt to install aftermarket belt tensioners to smooth things out. Now the good news is this doesn't happen to every Spyder rider, but it's one of those things that experienced Spyder riders know about and new owners usually discover at a later time. Now let's talk about another important item, the brakes. The Spyder uses a single foot brake pedal that controls all 3 wheels. This typically means the braking system is doing quite a bit of work. So brake pads usually last somewhere between 15,000 and 30,000 miles, depending on your riding style. Parts for front and rear pads together usually run between $150 to $300. And if a shop installs them, the total bill can land somewhere around $300 to $600. Again, not extreme, but definitely something every Spyder owner eventually deals with. Some owners even report early wear on the front rotors and pads and end up changing out, going with a more reliable aftermarket option that can run anywhere from $600 to $1,000 depending on what you choose. But again, a lot of these costs can be offset by setting aside some type of emergency fund or Spyder fund, as I call mine, that'll help offset some of these ownership costs. Now, another maintenance item that pops up every few years is going to be the battery. Most Spyder batteries last anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and battery costs typically run anywhere from $120 to $200 depending on the type that you choose. And if you choose to go to dealership option and have them install it, it can go anywhere from $250 or more. It's not a frequent cost, but it is one that eventually shows up for every Spyder owner. Now, in my case, I opted for the lifetime battery replacement program that my dealership offered. That was something that I did negotiate into the purchase price of my Spyder, which basically counts for when it's time to replace my battery. I just take it to the dealership and they swap the batteries out with a new one. And considering the general cost of batteries and what I paid for that warranty, I felt it was a good buy and opted to go in for that program when I purchased my Spyder. Again, every dealership is different on the type of programs that they offer, but that is something that you might want to look into as a new Spyder owner. Now, here are a few maintenance costs that many new Spyder owners completely forget about. Things like air filters, spark plugs, general inspections. Now, air filters typically run $40 to $80, and spark plug service can be quite a bit depending on the engine, whether you have the 990 or the 1330 Rotax engine. But if a dealer performs the service, that visit can sometimes run anywhere between $150 to $400 or more. And because these service items happen less often, they're easy to forget when people think about maintenance costs. But when we put everything together, when we talk about tires, oil changes, brake pads, batteries, and the occasional service visit, most Spyder owners spend somewhere around $400 to $900 per year on routine maintenance, and sometimes less if you do a lot of your own work, as in my case. Sometimes more if you rely on dealership service. But overall, for a full touring machine like the Spyder RT, I think that a lot of those costs are pretty reasonable when you compare them to what other riding platform owners pay to service their bikes. And as we wrap this video up, here's the part that matters most. Even with those costs, for many of us, the Spyder RT is still absolutely worth it. When we talk about the comfort, the stability, the long distance riding capabilities, and for a lot of riders, it keeps us riding when two wheels might not be the best option anymore. So if you find yourself thinking about buying a Spyder RT, just go in knowing the real maintenance costs ahead of time, because when you understand the machine, you'll definitely enjoy the ride a whole lot more. And this is why, like I've said in previous videos, it's important to have that conversation with the service department, because they'll be more than happy to share a lot of the costs that will be associated with the particular platform that you may buy. And it's always a good idea to plan ahead. Like I said, you want to have some type of Spyder emergency fund that help offset some of these costs. If you know that you're going to ride a lot, then you know you're probably going to reach those service intervals a whole lot quicker than most. And unless if it's something that you negotiated into your purchase price, where maybe your first service is free or your first service is at a reduced cost, it can definitely help alleviate some of the financial strain that owning a complicated riding machine like the Spyder can bring. Now, if you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments. Tell me about some of the maintenance costs that surprised you the most, because this is definitely a topic I plan to dig in a little bit deeper as we progress in this video series. As always, I appreciate the views. I appreciate the comments. Keep those comments coming. And always remember, live for the experience and definitely enjoy the ride. Peace.